Hey everyone, this is Alisha Costanzo and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be playing with my new reading board game, styled after Mario Party 8. Yep. This month I'm going to start with 6 rolls and hope I don't get any doubles because it's really hard to stick to a specific TBR, being a mood reader and using my library and randomly finding stuff and audiobooks and yes. I'm going to lessen my rolls and allow myself a little bit more spare room for mood reads. With that in mind, let's get on to roll number 1. Roll number 1. So roll number 1 is a foiled cover. And for this I chose something that I started reading a while ago. Checked to make sure that there was a version of it somewhere with a foiled cover on it. And that is The Battle of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I have been trying to read it. I've been reading it. It's just been bad timing both times I've gotten the book. So I got the audiobook this time because I know I can get through an audiobook fairly quickly with my drives to work. So that is book number 1. I really don't need to explain other than it is the prequel to the Hunger Games, and we're going to see what's going on with President Snow, who by the way is super old apparently, because it takes place during the 10th Hunger Games, and we're the 75th at the end, and he's almost 18, so he old. You'll hear about it in my wrap up. Anyways, let's get on to roll number 2. Roll number 2. So roll number 2 is a light cover, and for this I chose Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. This is one of the books that my dad has been telling me I need to read for a long time because he says I love the characters. Sassy, cop, female, billionaire, love interest, cop stuff. He suggested that I read Michael Connelly's Bosch series. We enjoyed watching the show together, so I'm going to trust him and I'm going to try a J.D. Robb book. And I do have my handy dandy iPad available to at least tell you a little bit about what the book's about. So let's see what it says. Let's see together. So in the year 2058, technology completely rules the world, but for New York City detective Eve Dallas, one irresistible impulse still rules her heart. Passion. So she's a New York police lieutenant hunting for a ruthless killer. After 10 years on the force, she's seen it all and her survival depends on her instincts. And she goes against every warning telling her not to get involved with Rourke, the Irish billionaire, and a suspect in Eve's murder investigation. But passion and seduction have rules of their own, and it's up to Eve to take a chance in the arms of a man she knows nothing about, except the addictive hunger of needing his touch. So this sounds like an awesome book, honestly, and if my dad liked it, I'll probably like it. So there you go. Alright, roll number 2, feeling pretty good so far, so let's get on to roll number 3. Roll number 3. So for roll number 3, I got a second reading challenge, and this one is the Insta challenge. So I went ahead and I pretty much immediately looked at my Instagram. I have the recording, so I'll put it up here for you guys. And the first book I came across, it was the first book that I put on my list of things to read. So I'm going to do several for this Insta challenge. I don't know how many. My aim is kind of like 3 or 4, so we'll see how well I do with that. But if I at least read one from my Insta challenge, I'm going to consider it a success. But either way, I'm going to make a video about the book and the other books I choose and how I go about doing that, even if I cheat a little bit. Here's the first book that I found, and it is We Hunt the Flame, and I'm sorry because I'm going to butcher your name. And it is Hafsa Faisal. I probably totally said that wrong, but the book looks interesting. Let's find out what this is about together, because the cover looks amazing. People lived because she killed. People died because he lived. Zafira is the hunter, disguising herself as a man when she braves the cursed forest of Ars to feed her people. Nasir is the Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father, the Sultan. If Zafira was exposed as a girl, all of her achievements would be rejected. If Nasir displayed his compassion, his father would punish him in the most brutal of ways. Both Saphira and Nasir are legends in the kingdom of Awiya, but neither wants to be. Okay, so there's another paragraph. I don't need to read it, honestly, because I don't really want to know much more than that. I'm good. I'm hooked. Let's see what happens in this book. And I found an audiobook in my library, so that makes me super excited because that means I'll actually get to listen to it. So yes, book number 1 of my Insta challenge is We Hunt the Flame. Excited. Alright, let's get on to roll number 4. Roll number 4. One. Okay, so roll number 4 was one of my extra bits I got to roll my 12-sided die for. So in my list it comes up with continuous series. So I'm gonna spin my wheel, and I put in as many series as I could think of that I was in the middle of and mostly wanted to read. There was 1 or 2 where I left out because I just really would not be happy reading them. But I even got ones that I'm like, okay about reading. We spun that and we got to the Encrypted series, which I talked about in my book tag video, my Bob's Burgers book tag video, with Verity Price, and her being from a family that used to hunt abnormal creatures like dragons and boogeymen and were creatures and stuff like that, and then deviated from the Covenant because they believed that the monsters deserve a chance and shouldn't just be killed because they're different than everybody else. So I'm going to read book 2 in it. I do not know what book 2 is going to entail, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be more of the same, and that's exactly what I want out of it. I'm going to go in blind and see what happens to Veri and her band of very strange characters. Alright, let's get on to roll number 5. Roll number 5. So roll number 5, I got another 12-sided die roll, and it's also a continuous series, and instead of re-rolling it, I'm gonna go with it because that's what it gave me. Let's go once again to my wheel of series and see what my wheel decides I'm going to read this month. Alright, so it looks like it chose the Trashy Duet, which I'm going to have to buy, and that's completely fine. I have a little bit extra money right now, so I can actually buy a $3 or $4 book, or however much it costs. This is the second in a duet, the Trashy Duet. I read Trashy Affair was the first one. The second one is, what? Trashy Conquest. And there was the forewarning that this is not made of good people. It's a married guy and his secretary who met on a plane before she became a secretary or assistant or whatever you want to call it, and then they started having an affair, and the end of book 1 is a cliffhanger, as all cliffhangers, and I have a few theories, so I'm excited to see what happens with this. Now, I read the first probably back in February or March, and that's important because I was in a slump. I was only reading like 3 books a month, and then I read this one, and all of a sudden my reading like shot up, and I got really into it, so I'm excited to see where this one goes. She was really good at the slow burn. Once we got past the slow burn, I was like, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see if there's any more slow burning regression in the romance that happened in book 1. Alright, let's get on to what's hopefully our last roll. Roll number 6. Roll number 6. So roll number 6 is physical book. Ooh. Physical. I didn't get any doubles. No doubles. No extra rolls. 6 books. This is amazing. So I once again bought a book for my physical book, even though I have plenty of physical books that I could have bought. This one has been on my wish list for a long time though, so I went ahead and splurged, and it is also a graphic novel. This is going to make my reading a little bit later as well because I'm struggling right now with my actual physical reading instead of listening. This one is going to be Self-Made, and that is by Matt Groom. I don't really know much about it. I knew a lot about it when I first got it. I know it has to do with a video game type of concept, so let's see what this says. So when chaos besieges the kingdom of Arcadia, warrior Amala Sitali, is that right? Sitlali? uncovers a shocking truth. She's a non-player character in an advanced video game. With her very existence at stake, Amala embarks on a journey across worlds to escape her prison, find her creator, and demand answers to the fundamental questions of her existence. So, that sounds pretty awesome. So this collects 1 through 6. Apparently this is a comic, so this is a compendium or a collection. And that, I wonder how many more there are. Do you think there are more? Okay, I should probably read it first before I get excited about there being more. Anyways, Self-Made. That is my last book on my TBR for the month. Ooh, should I do a TBR jar? I probably should do a 21 before 2021. You know what? I'm not going to right now because I don't know if I got to either of the ones from last month. I know I didn't at least one. So if I didn't, I'm going to move it over to this month. Yeah. Okay. That's it then. Anyways, tell me what you're reading, listening to, watching, whatever it is that you enjoy consuming. Even your favorite YouTubers. I love to watch more booktubers, so if you have suggestions, please leave any of those things in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to stop babbling and let you go on to do other things and get back to my day. So, I'll see you next time.